It was a lazy Saturday afternoon, and I was sprawled out on the couch, scrolling through my phone, when the doorbell rang. I groaned. Not in the mood for visitors, but my best friend Jess had other plans. Before I could even get up, she barged in, her arms loaded with shopping bags and a mischievous grin plastered across her face. "Jess, what the hell?" I said, sitting up. "You know you're supposed to wait for someone to answer the door, right?" She ignored me, dropping the bags on the floor with a dramatic sigh. "You, my dear, are in desperate need of a makeover." I raised an eyebrow. "A makeover? What are you talking about?" "I'm fine." Jess rolled her eyes. "Fine? You call this fine?" She gestured at me, and I looked down at my worn-out hoodie and sweatpants. Okay, maybe I wasn't exactly dressed to impress, but it was Saturday. Who cared? "Listen," she said, plopping down next to me. "I've been thinking about this for a while. You've been in a rut, and I think it's time for a change. A big one." I frowned. "What kind of change?" She leaned in, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "A surprise makeover. And not just any makeover. I'm talking full-on transformation. Hair, makeup, wardrobe, the works." I laughed nervously. "Jess, come on. You know I'm not really into that kind of stuff." "Exactly," she said, pointing a finger at me. "That's why you need it. You've been stuck in this boring, predictable routine for way too long. It's time to shake things up." I opened my mouth to protest, but she cut me off. "Nope. No arguments. You're doing this. Trust me, you'll thank me later." Before I could say another word, she grabbed my arm and dragged me off the couch. "Come on. We're starting right now." An hour later, I was sitting in Jess's bathroom, surrounded by an array of beauty products that I couldn't even begin to name. She had already washed my hair and was now blow-drying it, her fingers working through the strands with surprising expertise. "Jess, I don't know about this," I said, staring at my reflection in the mirror. "I mean, I've never even worn makeup before. Isn't this going to look weird?" She smirked. "Weird? No way. You're going to look amazing. Just trust me, okay?" I sighed, knowing there was no point in arguing. Once Jess had her mind set on something, there was no stopping her. So I sat there, letting her work her magic, even though I had no idea what she was doing. She started with my hair, curling it into soft waves that framed my face. Then she moved on to makeup, applying foundation, blush, and eyeshadow with a steady hand. I watched in awe as she transformed my face, highlighting features I didn't even know I had. "Okay, close your eyes," she said, holding up a mascara wand. I obeyed, feeling the brush sweep over my lashes. When she was done, she stepped back, admiring her work. "Wow," she said, her voice filled with satisfaction. "You look incredible." I opened my eyes and stared at my reflection. The person staring back at me was different. My skin looked flawless, my eyes seemed bigger and more expressive, and my lips were a soft, rosy pink. I barely recognized myself. "Jess, I don't even know what to say." She grinned. "I told you. Now, come on. We're not done yet." She led me to her bedroom, where she had laid out an outfit on the bed. It was a dress, a cute, floral print dress with a fitted waist and a flared skirt. My eyes widened. "Jess, I can't wear that." "Why not?" she asked, hands on her hips. "It's your size, and it'll look amazing on you." Because it's a dress. I'm a guy." She rolled her eyes. "So? Clothes don't have a gender. Besides, you've already come this far. Don't chicken out now." I hesitated, staring at the dress. Part of me wanted to refuse, to tell her this was going too far. But another part of me was curious. What would it feel like to wear something like that? To step outside of my comfort zone and try something completely new? Before I could overthink it, I grabbed the dress and headed to the bathroom to change. It felt strange at first, the fabric soft against my skin, the way it hugged my body in ways I wasn't used to. But as I looked at myself in the mirror, I couldn't help but smile. I looked good, really good. When I stepped out of the bathroom, Jess's eyes lit up. "Oh my God, you look stunning. I knew that dress would be perfect for you." I blushed, feeling a strange mix of embarrassment and pride. Thanks, I guess. She clapped her hands together. Okay, one last thing. Shoes. She handed me a pair of white heels, and I stared at them in disbelief. Jess, I can't walk in those. Sure you can, she said, waving off my concern. Just take it slow. You'll get the hang of it. I slipped them on, wobbling slightly as I stood up. Jess steadied me, laughing as I took a few tentative steps. See? You're a natural. I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't help but laugh too. This whole situation was so absurd, but somehow, it was also kind of fun. By the time we were done, it was late afternoon. Jess had taken a million pictures of me, insisting that I needed to document this moment. I had to admit, I was starting to feel more comfortable in my new look. It was like I was playing a character, stepping into someone else's shoes for a day. But then Jess dropped a bombshell. Okay, it's time for the grand reveal, she said, grabbing her keys. I froze. What do you mean, grand reveal?
She grinned.
We're going to your parents' house. I texted them earlier and told them we were stopping by. My heart dropped.
Jess, no.
You can't be serious. Oh, I'm totally serious. Don't worry, they're going to love it. Jess, this is insane. They're going to freak out. She shrugged. Maybe. Or maybe they'll surprise you. Either way, it'll be interesting. I wanted to argue, to tell her this was a terrible idea, but she was already dragging me out the door. I stumbled after her, my heels clicking against the pavement as we made our way to the car. The drive to my parents' house was a blur. My mind was racing, trying to come up with a way to get out of this, but Jess was determined. Before I knew it, we were pulling into the driveway. Jess, please, I begged as we walked up to the front door. Don't do this. She ignored me, ringing the doorbell with a flourish. A moment later, the door opened, and my mom stood there, her eyes widening as she took in my appearance. Oh my goodness, she said, her hand flying to her mouth. Is that you? I felt my face flush, and I looked down at the ground, unable to meet her gaze.
Yeah.
It's me. There was a long, awkward silence, and then my mom surprised me by stepping forward and pulling me into a hug. You look beautiful, she said, her voice filled with warmth. I blinked, stunned. Wait, what? She pulled back, smiling at me. I mean it. You look amazing. I had no idea you were interested in this kind of thing, but I love it. I stared at her, completely speechless. This was not the reaction I had been expecting. Come in, she said, ushering us inside. Your father's in the living room. He's going to want to see this. I hesitated, but Jess gave me a reassuring smile and nudged me forward. Reluctantly, I followed my mom into the living room, where my dad was sitting on the couch, reading the newspaper. Honey, look who's here, my mom said, her voice tinged with excitement. My dad looked up, and his eyes widened in surprise. For a moment, he just stared at me, and I braced myself for the worst. But then, to my utter shock, he smiled. Well, look at you, he said, setting the newspaper aside. You clean up nice. I blinked, unsure if I was hearing him correctly. Thanks. He chuckled. I mean it. You look great. I didn't know you had it in you. I felt a wave of relief wash over me, and I couldn't help but smile. Thanks, Dad. Jess clapped her hands together, breaking the tension. See? I told you they'd love it. I shot her a look, but I couldn't stay mad at her. She had been right. This had turned out way better than I had expected. The rest of the evening was surprisingly normal. My parents asked a few questions, but they were mostly just curious and supportive. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, and I felt more comfortable in my own skin than I had in a long time. As we were leaving, my mom pulled me aside. I just want you to know, she said, her voice soft, that no matter what, we love you, and we're proud of you. I felt a lump form in my throat, and I hugged her tightly. Thanks, Mom. That means a lot. When we got back to Jess's car, I turned to her, a smile spreading across my face. Okay, you were right. This was amazing.
She grinned.
Told you. So, what do you think? Ready to do it again sometime? I laughed, shaking my head. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
But yeah.
Maybe. As we drove off into the night, I couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement for what the future might hold. Thanks to Jess, I had discovered a side of myself I never knew existed, and I couldn't wait to explore it further. As the days turned into weeks, I found myself thinking more and more about that day with Jess. The way I had felt in that dress, the confidence that had surged through me when my parents had been so supportive, it was like a door had been opened, and I couldn't bring myself to close it. Jess, of course, was thrilled. She had been dropping hints about doing another makeover, and while I was hesitant at first, I eventually gave in. Okay, fine, I said one evening as we were hanging out at her place. But this time, let's keep it low-key. No surprise visits to my parents, no grand reveals. Just us. Jess grinned, clearly delighted.
Deal.
But I'm still going all out. You're not getting off that easy. True to her word, Jess went all out. This time, she had an entire plan laid out, complete with a theme. We're going for a vintage vibe, she announced, holding up a polka dot dress that looked like it had come straight out of the 1950s. Think retro glamour. I raised an eyebrow. Retro glamour? Jess, I don't even know what that means. She rolled her eyes. It means you're going to look like a movie star from the golden age of Hollywood. Trust me, you'll love it. And so, the transformation began. Jess started with my hair, using hot rollers to create soft, bouncy curls. Then she moved on to makeup, opting for a classic red lip and winged eyeliner. I watched in fascination as she worked, her hands moving with precision and confidence. When she was done, she stepped back, admiring her handiwork. Okay, now for the piece de resistance. She handed me the polka dot dress, along with a pair of white gloves and a pearl necklace. I hesitated for a moment, then slipped into the dress. It fit perfectly, hugging my waist and flaring out at the hips. The gloves and necklace added the perfect finishing touches, and when I looked in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. Jess, this is incredible, I said, turning to face her. I feel like I stepped out of a time machine. She beamed. I told you. You look amazing. We spent the rest of the evening taking pictures and laughing, Jess insisting on posing me in various vintage scenarios. It was fun, and for the first time in a long time, I felt truly carefree. But as the weeks went by, I started to feel a growing sense of something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but it was there, nagging at the back of my mind. It wasn't until one night, as I was lying in bed, that it finally clicked. I had been scrolling through my phone, looking at the pictures from our makeover sessions, when it hit me. This wasn't just about having fun or trying something new.
This was about me, about who I was and who I wanted to be.
The realization was both exhilarating and terrifying.
I had always thought of myself as just me,
a guy who liked video games and hanging out with friends. But now, I was starting to see that there was more to me than that. That maybe, just maybe, I wasn't just a guy. I didn't know what to do with that realization, so I did the only thing I could think of. I called Jess. Hey, she said when she answered, her voice groggy with sleep. What's up? It's like midnight. I need to talk to you, I said, my voice trembling. It's important. There was a pause, and then I heard her sit up. Okay, I'm listening. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. I think I might be different, like not just a guy. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I might be transgender. There was a long silence on the other end of the line, and for a moment, I thought Jess had hung up. But then she spoke, her voice soft and gentle. Hey, it's okay.
You don't have to have it all figured out right now.
But if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And I'm here for you, no matter what. Tears welled up in my eyes, and I felt a wave of relief wash over me. Thanks, Jess. That means a lot. We talked for hours that night, Jess listening patiently as I poured out my thoughts and fears. She didn't have all the answers, but she didn't need to. Just having someone to talk to, someone who didn't judge or dismiss me, was enough. The next few months were a whirlwind of self-discovery. I started experimenting more with my appearance, trying out different styles and looks. Jess was my constant companion, always there to offer advice and encouragement. She even helped me come out to my parents, who, to my immense relief, were just as supportive as they had been during that first makeover. "We just want you to be happy," my mom said, hugging me tightly. "And if this is what makes you happy, then we're behind you 100%. With their support, I started seeing a therapist, someone who could help me navigate my feelings and figure out what I wanted. It wasn't always easy. There were days when I felt overwhelmed and unsure, but I kept going one step at a time. Eventually, I made the decision to start hormone therapy. It was a big step, and I was nervous, but I knew it was the right thing for me. Jess was by my side the whole time, cheering me on and reminding me that I wasn't alone. As the months turned into years, I began to see the person I had always been inside start to emerge. My body changed, my confidence grew, and I started to feel more like myself than I ever had before. It was a journey, and it wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. Looking back, I can't help but laugh at how it all started, with a surprise makeover and a pair of heels. But that day, that moment, was the beginning of something incredible. It was the day I started to become the person I was always meant to be. And through it all, Jess was there. My best friend, my confidant, my biggest cheerleader. She had seen something in me that I hadn't even seen in myself, and she had helped me bring it to life. "You know," I said to her one day as we were sitting in her living room, "I don't think I ever properly thanked you for that first makeover." She grinned. "You don't have to thank me. Seeing you happy is all the thanks I need." I smiled, feeling a warmth spread through my chest. "Still, thank you for everything." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "Anytime, Bestie. Anytime." And in that moment, I knew that no matter what the future held, I would always have Jess by my side. And with her support, I could face anything. The journey wasn't over. Not by a long shot. There were still challenges ahead, still moments of doubt and fear. But I had found my truth, and I had found my people. And with that, I knew I could keep moving forward, one step at a time. As I looked in the mirror that night, the person staring back at me was someone I was proud to be. Someone strong, someone brave, someone true. And I knew, without a doubt, that this was just the beginning. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.